I am Yankuba Touray, and you're watching QTV's This Morning program, and I am joined by my co-host, Ibrahim Balde. Looking good.
Thank you, Yankuba.
Yes.
It's a very good day,
yeah.
and we are almost coming to the end of the week. It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
And you know what Thursdays are.
Yeah.
Most people will be celebrating.
Yeah.
The weekend is fast approaching.
Yeah.
And we are back again, Yankuba, and about to have a very positive program.
Yes.
You know, because today, the papers are very, very interesting.
Sure.
As you know, what we do on this platform is to review newspapers and discuss among ourselves. So it will be very interesting.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. Like you mentioned, our goal here every morning is to make sure we give you memorable and exciting mornings. If you're just tuning in on this program for the first time, this is QTV's This Morning program coming your way from Monday to Thursday at 10 a.m. And on this particular program, we do have a variety of segments on this program.
Exactly.
Like
so
you mentioned.
Yes. What do we have today?
We have the newspaper review. We have social issues where we invite different stakeholders and talk about trending issues in the country currently. We have the Keeping Fit segment where we hit the gym and lose some weight and stay healthy.
You know, the gym part, we've been talking about this. I think since we started, we didn't go to the gym. So it's important for us to...
Actually, we went to the gym once. Yes, just once.
Oh,
and remember, I was the instructor and you were at the gym. We pretended you were here anyway, and he did well. So we also have the entertainment update by Skangman Squeezy right here to give us an entertainment update. And just to tell you that our entertainment update today is going to be extremely interesting, so you have to stay.
I wish Yankuba on the entertainment segment we have enough time, because today I have a lot to ask about, but due to time, I know
time
we won't
constraints.
Yes.
So we're going to head right on to the newspaper review after this commercial break. Do stay tuned.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow.
If you're passionate about using technology, creativity, and art to make your mark in the world, then a 9-month tuition-free course in film and photography at the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication is something you should consider. The training is supported by the European Union-funded Youth Empowerment Project. The course is open to Gambians aged 18 to 35 who have completed high school and can read and write English language. Migrant returnees, women, and people with previous experience in film and photography are encouraged to apply. Interested candidates can pick a form at Majak opposite GNPC gas station in Bakau. Forms are also available at all regional youth offices. You can also download the form on the YEP website and on all our social media handles. Completed forms must be submitted at Majak or online at majakgm@gmail.com on or before Monday, July 21st, 2021 at 4 p.m. For further inquiries, please call 222-6490, 372-5053, or visit www.majakgm.com.
Welcome back, viewers. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV's This Morning program, and before we went for the break, we agreed that we'll be heading right on to the newspaper review.
Yes.
So we will start with the Point newspaper. Take us through what's happening at the Point.
Well, Yankuba, today the Point newspaper, when you, not only the Point, but when you look at most of the newspapers,
there's one story there.
There's one story trending.
Yes.
So on the Point newspaper, Yankuba Touray sentenced to death by hanging, you know, and I know most people right now, they're sitting, waiting for people to delve into this. And of course, we have on the Point newspaper too, Barrow donates $2 million to NBR disaster victims as his personal contribution. We also have Pap Sen to be conferred Most Respected Media CEO Award in Dubai this weekend. And on the Point newspaper too, we have TRRC Awards United Nations Development System in the Gambia. This is what we have on the Point newspaper.
All right, so that's all we have on the Point newspaper. Now moving on to the Standard newspaper, we have Yankuba Touray sentenced to death for murdering Koro. We also have Mai denies responsibility in Haruna Jatta's killing. 107 COVID-19 cases recorded and 3 deaths. Barrow makes 2 million personal donation to NBR victims. We also have Sabali urges National Assembly members to reject government's supplementary bill. Newcastle County leader declares July 8th KMC Day. Man in court for alleged break-in at Trust Bank. That's all we have on the Standard. And
on the Voice newspaper, Interior Minister appears before Public Petition Committee. Livestock boss call for action against animal rustlers. And still, here it goes again. Yes. The Koro Ceesay's murder trial. High Court convicts Yankuba Touray for to death by hanging. So maybe the headlines will change. Yeah, the headlines are a bit similar. The same. Yes, remain the same. So on the Foreign newspaper, moving on, we have court sentences Yankuba Touray to death by hanging. Sidia Jatta, the Gambia's that stands at over 77.4 billion. President Barrow gives 2 million to NBR disaster victims as his personal contribution. Yes. World Bank pledges support for windstorm victims. And we also have, has the recent disaster received the swift attention necessary? The death penalty and the Constitution on the editorial side of this particular newspaper. So that is all we have for you on the newspaper review. This is what newspapers have to offer today. And one thing that we've observed is that on each newspaper, the headline obviously is the Yankuba Touray case. So like we always do when we have the newspaper review, we have a guest right here with us in the studio to help us analyze these stories that are highlighted on the respective newspapers. And joining us is our colleague, Mamadou Mbodj. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, Jennifer.
Yes. So to start with, let's take a look at the Yankuba Touray Koro Ceesay case. Yesterday, the judgment has been passed and Yankuba Touray is supposed to be hanged according to the judgment. What's your take on that?
I mean, significant day. I mean, 14th of July, elsewhere it's called Bastille Day. Very significant in French history. Now, to some extent, it is in our own as well. Quite startling. Everybody was really watching this. A lot of things sort of like was riding on it in many ways. It was a test case. This was give us an indication of how the so-called human rights violations, how a trial might go. So now we can sort of be assured that they've got the right evidence there and demonstrated it, and he lost in court, sentenced to death by hanging. But we all know that in all likelihood it wouldn't be enforced strictly because of the moratorium imposed in 2018 by the president. So we expect perhaps his appeal.
Considering the fact that this is some sort of closure for the family of Koro Ceesay, for all these years, justice has finally been served.
Yes, but that's just one. Remember, there was Edward Singate, Peter Singate. Now, what would happen? What would be the significance? What would be the import of this sentence here? And there was a Tumultamba, I think he's dead, and that sort of thing. So now what next? What's going to happen, with to them? People? And even for me, the interesting thing here is, like, for instance, like the Kanye himself, his evidence was crucial. Imagine here, the person who said that he actually took part, he will probably walk away. They'll have a deal. The person who was trying to deny things, now you're going to jail. It's quite fascinating.
That comes to my question. What do you think landed Yankuba Touray in hot water?
Quite fascinating. I call it a comedy of errors. Remember the TRRC in the beginnings, there were people like Kante. How did they characterize Yankuba? One called him a comedian, another one called him the joker. Now look at it. Edward Singate, one of the junta members, a lawyer, when he came to the TRRC, he didn't invoke that immunity clause. Sana Sabali, another member, he didn't invoke the immunity clause. But somehow Yankuba Touray with his histrionics, we all remember that day. And a lot of people were really pissed off and they chased the vehicle and stoning him and doing all sorts of things. So this is it. He misunderstood something. You know what I mean? Either he got bad advice
From the lawyer.
from the lawyer, or whatever happened, but he really misunderstood things. And then from there on, it was just downhill all the way.
Yeah.
And remember, when they took him away, we thought that perhaps it was going to be a charge for contempt because of, you know, his rudeness at the TRRC. But somehow, you remember Abubakar Tambedi, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice at the time, saying that we're going to make an example of this man.
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened.
And the funniest part of this whole situation is from questioning the legitimacy of the TRRC to where he is now. Quite interesting.
Yes, this is what we were saying. He misunderstood things. I mean, the TRRC was really very, very good in many ways, because the main players, except for Jamia, really, the main players came round and told us why and exposed themselves, the sensibility, the character. They were really quite immature. And the education was sort of half-baked, we have to say this, in many ways. There are misconceptions, you know. So with all of them, he just misunderstood things. He was just a very, very simple guy. But just because they had the gun, so they wanted to transform themselves into all sorts of things. But in the end, when you take the gun away, they're really very ordinary.
Yes, according to Kanye, the witness that testified at the TRRC, he said it wasn't done alone. It's a team. Sentencing Yankuba Touray to death, do you think this paved way for them to involve those who were, those who took part in the murder of Koro Sise?
No, I think this would be tricky. Just as I said earlier, Kanye took part, but Kanye cooperated with the TRRC 1, and he was also state witness. So they must cut a deal. I mean, this is going to be, some bits are going to be difficult in any Truth Reconciliation Commission.
But very soon TRRC will be submitting its report.
Yes.
So
that's the key.
Yes.
Yes. So what next?
That's where we will know. Then from there, isn't it, the government will give us the white paper, to, you know, which bits would be approved or implemented.
And everybody is optimistic about implementing the recommendations.
You know that some people will be dissatisfied.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what decision he takes. Some people will be dissatisfied. Even here, if you follow social media, those sympathetic to Yankuba Touray, you know what they've been saying. This is a conspiracy. This is all sorts of things. It's sort of overheated imagination.
You know what I was thinking, Geneva? I think immunity. He said, like they are open to immunity. So they're not thinking another government can come and just say this doesn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't occur to them.
Yeah.
Even though those who were following the law, there was a certain change, as it were. There was a new ethos in town. There are certain things you really cannot have immunity, as it were. But maybe they had no idea. Maybe a lawyer would be better to explain this bit, really, to get into the details.
like you just mentioned, we have lawyer Lamin Kamarat here, and he'll be helping us in relation to the death penalty and other issues. So moving on to other stories that we have on the newspaper. On the Foreign newspaper, we have President Barrow gives $2 million to NBR disaster victims as his personal contribution. Is it okay for the president to give personal contributions when it comes to issues as such?
Now, this is a tricky one. I suppose if it has something to do with the law, if there is a legal prohibition, that is something else. But if there isn't, then we're just talking about morally.
Morally? I
see no reason why not, even though perhaps somebody else can come and say, but it might have political consequences. So it just depends on the angle of how you look at it. I know that the people that will receive the money, I know where they fall on this side of the argument. They will approve, they wouldn't mind at all.
Yeah, the issue is that I've had several conversations with the NDMA, and they talk about the fact that politicians sometimes affect their response process. And considering the president has his own political party, and he's a politician now. So one might say this is in the same vein.
That is a fascinating point that you've just brought out. Yes, perhaps the NDMA, they have their own processes of how to channel these things. Maybe would Barrow do it through the NDMA?
Big question.
So you don't really quite know what the details are. But it's quite fascinating for you to say that according to the NDMA, they get this interference from government officials, which is hindering, as it were, their work.
Yeah.
Now, that is really the story there. That
Okay, so let's try to follow developments and see how this
Absolutely.
particular $2 million will be disbursed.
Absolutely.
We also have on the Fourier newspaper, Sidia Jata, the Gambia's that stands at over 77.4 billion.
Well, we've known that for a while.
Yes.
The question now is, how do we deal with that? You know, how do we pay it back?
Mr.
So we've known that for a
Mr.
while.
Boy, do you think it will be easy for us to be able to settle our debt on time? Because every time it's increasing. You know, all the time it's increasing.
But what does it mean to set it on time? It doesn't work like that. It's something that accumulates. But you also have other macroeconomic, as it were, situations that would determine all sorts of things. We all know that this is going to be extremely difficult, particularly with the COVID-19, with the pandemic and all the devastation, as it were, that it has left all countries in the world, really. So about 6% also estimate that we have that the economy will grow by. It has drastically reduced. So this is going to be a very, very difficult journey. I mean, one of the ways that countries deal with this is to cut spending. Cut your spending.
You know, Jenna, but that reminds me, I was going through a particular site on the internet. They quoted Halifa Sallah saying, even a newborn child, there is a particular debt on your head. So I was like, how comes?
Yes, you have a life to live.
That is true.
Yes.
When you go to work, you're going to have to pay all those taxes.
Exactly,
for us
you
to
have
pay
a life to live and feed.
So for generations to come, possibly, that's true, though.
Yeah, so also on the Standard newspaper, we have Newcastle County leader declares July 8th KMC Day. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, well, come on, go to the UN site and you see there's a day for everything.
Exactly.
why
KMC Day.
KMC Day. Why not? I mean, to do what? What's the point? I mean, it depends, you know. Maybe they're just saying it tongue-in-cheek.
No, we have a lot of days. I mean, July Day,
why
we
July
have...
8th, I wonder. What happened? What happened? On that?
Well, he actually came on a visit to KMC to check most of the projects that we have here, ranging from the backwater dump site to different places. So, well, I think it's important when it comes to partnership as well.
Well, cool. But then next you'll have Banyul saying, well, let's declare October 18th.
But I just,
Banyul
for
BCC
me,
Day.
for me,
then Brikama will take it up. So
for me, I just feel like declaring these days is a good thing. I am a very big fan of days because it gives us an opportunity to reflect and ask questions.
But just on that day, you see, so some people do say that to make the day meaningful, every day must count. You know what I mean? Whatever I'm celebrating, whatever I've learned, for that to be meaningful, I should be doing it every day. Not just once a year that we come and you have a fanfare, speeches here and there, all that sort of thing, whereas attitudes and outlooks are hardly touched.
Yeah, but it's a chance for us to remember that there's an issue and it needs to be solved anyway.
Don't you think days, normally, these are just set aside to polish and make it look good?
Not necessarily. It's to commemorate.
Yeah.
Some of it is really quite serious. You know what I mean? It's just that now it is sort of fashionable. You commemorate all sorts of things. But there is some significance to it. There is no denying that at all. It's just that when we go over the top with it, you know, that's when maybe it becomes a bit silly.
All right. Let's talk about COVID-19. We've seen that there's 107 COVID-19 cases recorded and 3 deaths. It seems we are going back to where we came from.
The third wave, so-called third wave.
Yeah, sort of
that's
a
it.
thing.
And when you're looking at the new cases, as it were, they've been going very, very high. At one point, what, 67? Another point, did I see 90 something? Yeah. Absolutely. What they call is the Delta variant, I think is in the mix. So we are not out of the woods yet. Even though you don't feel that way when you go outside, when you're walking in the streets, a lot of people are not wearing it. So.
But at a personal level, are you taking precautionary measures personally? Or are you relaxed now?
Well, I'm naturally a cautious person anyway. So I didn't have to do much extra, as it were. It's just that natural caution just sort of carrying me through.
Right. moving on, we are still on disasters as well. We have World Bank pledges to support disaster victims. And a question here that says, has the recent disaster received swift attention? Because we had the NDMA recently here, and they talked about the fact that institutions are donating on their own and not channeling it through them. Or even if they're not channeling it through them, they need data from these people, and there might be a duplication of effort.
Absolutely. But have they really set up a central fund, and all these institutions sort of knew that they could channel their fund, their donations through that fund? Have they done that? So we do not really quite know the details of it. But they're quite right to raise concerns over sort of the apparent chaotic, uncoordinated ways of distributing these things or donating them. So they're quite concerned to do that. So whether they acted swiftly or not, the emergency, the response units, or whatever they're called, whether they acted in time, well, that's a matter of judgment.
Yeah.
We have to understand that we are working within conditions where they'll tell you there are no resources and that sort of thing. There's so much that one needs to do, but again, you don't have the tools sort of like to do them. So in many ways, we will always be reactive in many ways for a long time. We will be reactive instead of proactive doing things. How do you prepare them? We get these things every year in many ways. So how do you prepare them to minimize, as it were, the damage? There will be some damage maybe, but how do you minimize? Maybe we cannot eradicate. Yeah. So there will always be gaps, I suspect, in this. Well, not always, but for a long time.
The issue of early warning system, which they say they are working on, Balde.
Jenna, well, let's look at the Voice newspaper. Livestock boss calls for action against animal rustlers. I think, Mr. Mboj, these people have been crying for a very long time, but the situation is getting worse every day.
It appears so if you follow the news. Every once in a while you'll see a story about cattle rustling somewhere around. Yes, so it's all police, law and order issue, the police. You know what I mean? But again, how can they do it? What is going on between these communities, as it were? There should be a kind of conflict management sort of mechanism within these communities, really, so that they can be sorting out these things. Because sometimes it turns out to be a deeper social problem. The cattle rustling, maybe it is just an effect of something else going on. Something else going on. So do not know, do not quite have the details.
Don't you
but
think,
it is important to
don't
have
you think
things.
the security doesn't have adequate resources to make sure they fight cattle rustling? Because it's been a problem for so long.
That is precisely my point. That is why I said that perhaps these communities must have a conflict resolution mechanism.
Sure.
They know their societies well. We must devolve, as it were, conflict resolution to all the different parts. Communities know really how to do things. It is when the central body wants to go and impose its abstract, as it were, laws and norms, then it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, you can take law and order, the police, but with these things, how do you investigate them for how long? So when you use the community and then you even solve, if there's a deeper problem, then it's an opportunity to even solve those things.
Yeah,
so
I think to solve this particular problem, it's not just a top approach, it's a bottom approach that you need to use, using communities themselves, using CAFOs themselves to actually sit down and get to talk to each other and understand that they're a community. One can protect one's livestock and the other can protect one's farm. So I think it's supposed to be some sort of a collective responsibility at community level to
sometimes
solve.
those that wrestle, I mean, these people are found within the communities.
Sure.
Some of them, they know each other.
Yeah, so that is why it should be solved using the bottom approach.
Yeah. This is precisely the reason.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Mboj, for coming to our newspaper review. Like you mentioned, there are certain issues that we talked about when it comes to Yankuba Touray's case. A lawyer's perspective will help us when it comes to that. So that is why we will bring you lawyer Lamin Kamara to help us analyze this particular case. Thank you so much for joining us. We will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will head right on to the segment called Social Issues. Do stay tuned.
This Tobaski. Tobaski Day 2 will be all fun with Hussein Dada featuring Chanta, A2, Big Banga, Maka Bars, YD, LJ and Swiss, and Sihu Yafa. We look forward to hosting you and your family for our special Tobaski event on Wednesday, 21st July 2021 from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. for only $200 gate fees.
Don't wait to be told. Bring your friends, family, and loved ones. Let's have fun together this Tabaski at Q City. Step into the future of television with sleek and slim design Samsung Smart TVs, ranging in size from 32 to 75 inches and in different technology. Smart LED, Crystal UHD, Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dot LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV as our TVs offer an unparalleled vision adventure from the comfort of your living room. Ultra viewing angle, powerful picture quality, web browser, gallery, EarthNet LAN, wireless LAN built-in, Bluetooth, screen mirroring technology, mobile on TV mirroring, built-in voice assistance, Wi-Fi direct. Not only that, our TVs are backed with 12 months warranty and we are currently on a promotion. Contact us on 333-3217.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning program, and that was our newspaper review with Mamadou Mbodj. Like I mentioned before we went for the break, we'll be heading right on to social issues, a segment where we get to discuss several issues happening or several developments in the country. And the development today has to do with the death penalty in the Gambia, as Yankuba Touray has been sentenced to death by hanging. So we have Ade Darami and lawyer Lamin Kamara to help us analyze this particular judgment. But before that, we have a video to show you. In this video, it is a journey of how Yankuba Touray refused to actually testify at the TRRC, calling it illegitimate, to now being sentenced to death. Let's take a look at that.
Swearing, if he refuses to swear in, you don't force him. Just let him know that he is being asked to swear in.
Swearing in now.
Mr. Touray, can you speak into the microphone?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I think I am leaving. If that is the case.
I am telling you that it is a criminal offense. It's a contempt of court if you fail to answer the questions by the commission.
Yes, I will.
Okay. So you want to come in and refuse to answer questions?
Yeah, I will not answer any of your questions.
You will come?
No, I'm not coming as well.
Okay. You're refusing to appear before the commission?
Yes, sir.
The purpose answer the question.
Is this an ambush?
Okay, that's the end of it. I am not saying nothing else.
Is this an ambush?
Can you end it there? I'm not here to answer questions.
Okay.
I am here to inform you that you are invited by the commission to come and appear. If you refuse to come and appear, that would attract consequences. The chairman has already made a pronouncement on that. This is a second chance you are being given to come and formally appear before the commission. If you refuse, we leave it at that.
I, Yankuba Touray.
I, Yankuba Touray.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I'll speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Can you tell us what were the problems within the Gambia National Army?
I am not going to testify regarding that, please. I invoke my constitutional immunity on all those issues.
Mr. Touray, I warn you that this is not the place to raise the issue of immunity. If you want to raise immunity claim, you take it to the High Court. Let me just finish. This is a truth commission. It's not a civil or criminal proceeding. It is, in fact, not a legal proceeding. So the claimed immunity does not apply to a fact-finding mission by the Commission of Inquiry.
Counsel, I still stand by my position that I invoke the constitutional immunity. The Constitution is the supreme law of this country. Any proceeding that is against the 1997 Constitution, I am not going to testify, and I will not answer any questions. I do not recognize the legitimacy of this commission when I have constitutional immunity. I am not going to continue further.
I would tell you.
You may also use all your legal tools, and then we will proceed and see. I thank you. I'm not speaking. I invoke my constitutional immunity.
Mr. Touray, may I inform you that under Section 125,
and having considered that this court does not have any discretion under Section 188 of the Criminal Code, the convict Yankuba Touray is hereby sentenced to death. And pursuant to Section 252 of the Criminal Procedure Code, the said sentence of death shall be by hanging.
What a journey. Thank you so much for joining us, Ade Darami and lawyer Lamin Kamara. So first of all, one thing that was stressed on that particular video is the constitutional immunity. Let's use that as a foundation to start this particular conversation. Why didn't that constitutional immunity work for Yankuba Touray?
Good morning, my excuse me. Good morning, my colleagues. And yeah. I don't think that argument would work for Yankuba Touray because it has been canvassed before the Supreme Court by virtue of a case stated. Case stated meaning the matter was first raised at the trial court in the High Court, and the judge could not decide on it because this is a constitutional matter that requires interpretation on fundamental rights. That is the protection of the right to liberty, right to life. The judge referred the matter to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was unanimous in the decision that he does not have constitutional immunity from testifying in the commission and does not have immunity from prosecution as far as the case is concerned. So that really, it didn't even have to get to this point.
Okay.
It was a non-starter in the first place.
All right.
Yes, I mean, for the man in the street, I think the bit that stripped away the constitutional immunity for him is that there were allegations of murder and subsequently a charge of murder. And the constitutional immunity that was granted to the members of the AFPRC was that if they did things in the normal course of their duties, killing somebody can never be
a normal course.
Something you do in the normal course of your duties. And so the fact that he thought he could rely on that was itself quite bizarre. And I don't know who was advising him, but he seemed quite confident. You saw the swagger when he came in. There was less, obviously, at the end in the latter clip that you showed when he was being sentenced, you know, as we saw last night. But that was what he relied on, and it could never stand in a court of law, as my learned friend has said.
All right.
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Kamara. What does this judgment mean for Alaji Kanye, who testified as an accomplice in the murder of Usman Kurosise?
The judgment doesn't mean much for Alaji Kanye. I don't think, as a former prosecutor, and of course a prosecutor up till now in a defense counsel, they will charge Alaji Kanye with the murder of Kurosise because Alaji Kanye happens to be the principal witness against Yankuba Touray. So Alaji Kanye must have enjoyed some sort of a quid pro quo with the state. You come and testify for us because in as much as you are an accomplice, but we will drop the charges against you and you give us what we want against Yankuba Touray. So Alaji Kanye would pretty much go scot-free. He would not be charged. I can say with a degree of certainty that Alaji Kanye must also have enjoyed some degree of immunity, absolute immunity, when he testified at the TRRC. And that is what engendered all this Yankuba Touray saga. So Alaji Kanye definitely would not be charged with this.
Okay. All right.
For sure.
So moving on, he's been charged with death penalty. The court has decided that he should be hanged to death. And this particular thing has not happened since 1981. I was having a conversation with you, Mr. Adedrame, in relation to this.
Indeed.
So is there a chance that this can happen really in the Gambia? Is there a chance?
With Yankuba Touray, I don't think so. Because firstly, let's remember that this is a court of first instance. That is the High Court.
Yeah.
And certainly he may, I think he will, exercise his right to appeal to the Gambia Court of Appeal and subsequently to the Supreme Court. And if I remember very well, I think sometime in 2018, the president pronounced that there is going to be a moratorium on the death penalty.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Even though the one in the Constitution has not been acted upon by the National Assembly members.
Right.
But I don't think he will be executed. Probably they will commute the death sentence to life imprisonment or some other time, provided that he does not get acquitted in the appellate courts.
Sure.
Because he still has 2 more courts to go, Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court.
That's
So let's watch and see what unfolds.
So, Mr. Drame, why the need to abolish the death penalty, looking with an activist lens, obviously?
Why the need? I think many societies that consider themselves civilized have abolished the death penalty. And in fact, what my learned friend just mentioned about the president in 2018, in fact, when he mentioned the moratorium, he actually said this is the first step to abolishing it. He was quite categorical about that. And again, we were having this discussion. I'm old enough to remember when it was abolished in England. And there was a woman, Ruth Ellis, who was hanged for killing her lover because she was jealous. And the revulsion, because many men had been hanged, but very few women had been hanged in England. And all these people who for 20 years had been campaigning in the British Parliament for it to be abolished suddenly had a cause célèbre. They had a case that they could take. And also there was an instance of 2 young men who were involved in the killing of a policeman. The one who said to the other, let him have it, is the one who hanged, not the 17-year-old who pulled the trigger. And again, that shocked the nation. And they started asking themselves the question, should a civilized society hang people? In America, they hang people. It's more an act of revenge than justice. Because for all the killings in America by the state, it has not reduced the murder rate at all. So you can't say it's a deterrent. And so because of that, various societies have been turning against the death penalty, really. And we see ourselves as a civilized society, and we don't want it to be about revenge. Again, if I go to my own country, Sierra Leone, we're in a similar situation where it's on the way to being abolished. People who lost loved ones during the Civil War were saying that we don't want this endless cycle of killing to go on. It has to stop at some point. And if you kill the person who killed my child, it's not going to bring back my child. And so that's where most societies are moving.
All right.
The death sentence, Mr. Kamara, this law, from your own experience, has this been ever carried out? What can you tell us about this?
I think, like Ade had just said, from history, I do remember that I think it happened sometime after the 1981 coup d'etat.
Yes.
Once, and apart from that, I can only recall the Mile 29, if you remember that.
2012.
Yes, 2012 Mile 29.
Yeah.
These are the 2 cases I remember in the history of this country.
Yeah.
Just to add that the fact that the president has made a pronouncement on the abolition, on the moratorium on the death penalty, does not mean that the courts are stopped from pronouncing it, because it's pretty much in the laws of the Gambia. It's in the Constitution and it's in the Criminal Code, and that is why it is still legitimate for courts to pronounce it. Its applicability is what we're talking about, but the pronouncement is very much legitimate.
Exactly.
And Judge Jaita was quite good.
Judge Jaita was very clear.
He said, I have no other option because Section 188 tells me that this is the only sentence I can pass.
That is because the word used there is shall.
Shall.
When you interpret that, it's mandatory. So he cannot depart from that because of Section 29 of the CP. It does not apply to that.
All right, so let's talk about the draft constitution. I think when issues as such come up, we have to also reflect on the draft constitution, some of the laws, some of the things that have been changed on the draft constitution. Because if the draft constitution was voted by the parliament, we wouldn't be having this discussion today.
This is true.
Yes.
I was one of those who was quite critical about it being voted down.
Yeah.
I thought people had kind of gone with narrow, selfish interests in voting against it. It was very progressive, and for this, not just for this country, it could have been for the sub-region. For example, if you talk about disability rights, there are certain disability rights that would have been enshrined in the Constitution. All of those were thrown out by, again, I say, these selfish people who rejected it for very, very narrow reasons. But as you rightly say, had it gone through, we will be having this conversation. Yeah.
So, Lawyer Kamara.
I wish, Geneva, I can speak for the draft for and or against the draft constitution. I was a commissioner in the Constitutional Review Commission, and I cannot be seen to be holding brief for the draft constitution because from what I hear from the Attorney General, it's still not dead.
Well, the President mentioned that on State of Affairs as well.
I think it's in coma, but it's not dead. So I wish to reserve my opinion on that. But I think it was a progressive document as far as we are concerned at the Commission. I could say that.
Okay.
And all these things would have been obviated if the draft constitution was enforced.
But the President said it's not dead yet. They're just things that they have to agree about.
We've heard that from him, and we've heard other people have come from outside our own country and said to them, revive it, bring it back. Look at the things that people objected to, see if there are things you can tweak in order they can be kind of brought back to life, revived. Because it would be great if the Gambia adopted such a progressive constitution. Yeah,
I've heard certain activists say before we have Goodluck Jonathan come into the country to actually try to revive the constitution, we should have had like a national dialogue where all of us can sit and try to look at it and see what we can do. But at another perspective as well, some activists are saying they don't want to sheathe the draft constitution, so I don't know where to be.
I mean, the National, Constitutional Review Commission, they went around the country, they consulted with people, so we've had that conversation. And I think had it been put to the public rather than to National Assembly members, I suspect we might have had a different outcome. But it didn't go to a referendum because, once you have something that's contentious, which bits do you take to the referendum? The whole of it, some of it, none of it? And so that makes it very unwieldy in trying to get consensus around it. But I think we've had the conversation, and that's why concerned people from the UK, the Americans chipped in, said, we think it would be a good idea if it was passed. And some people thought that was interfering. And in fact, some National Assembly members got up and actually mentioned all these foreign entities and governments that were saying, try and pass it. They're like, why do they want us to pass it? And they became suspicious, and that informed their vote against it. It was most unfortunate.
There is a part on the draft constitution that I think most people, that's why it's important for you to have an idea on certain things. People are saying there is a part on the draft constitution that give power to gay rights. So most of the time, especially those that are not landed, what they do, people just try to confuse them when it comes to that point. Gay rights, gay rights. So you will hear some people will tell you, we don't want that draft constitution, because it is giving power to gay.
Yes, I mean, I heard supposedly intelligent National Assembly members get up and make that point. And what the Constitution says is that everybody has rights, actually. It doesn't break it down. But they were arguing about things like the previous Constitution goes so far as to say marriage should only be between a man and a woman. There are very few countries in the world where the Constitution gets down to that nitty-gritty detail. There are laws, about that sort of thing, but this one actually gave rights to everybody, including gay people. And some people didn't think that gay people should have rights, and so that's really what they objected to. But
the issue of gay rights are very sensitive when it comes to societies like the Gambia.
Of course.
So
in most African countries, it's still illegal.
I think if I can come here on the marriage provision and the draft constitution, I'll be brief on that because the draft constitution is clearer than the 1997 constitution. What we actually have on the 1997 constitution is subject to ambiguity. It can be interpreted to give room to gay right marriage. The draft constitution was categoric and unambiguous on the fact that marriage can be only between a man and a woman and nothing else. In fact, I can say that I am one of the people who interpreted it in Mandinka and Wolof, in 109 destinations, villages in this country. And we are very clear as crystal. There is no room for double interpretation or ambiguity in the draft constitution with respect to gay rights. It's not there.
Okay. All right. So now that we've talked about Yankuba Touray, still, which has to do obviously with the TRRC, let's talk about TRRC recommendations. You know, the implementation of these recommendations. Where can it take us as a country, Mr. Kamara?
For now, whatever we say with the recommendation would be a matter of conjecture because it is not out yet. We do not know exactly what the recommendations will be. But I hope, fingers crossed, that the recommendations will be very good ones. It will give room for reconciliation more rather than retaliation and revenge. The Yankuba Touray verdict, you would see, is highly polarized right now. People, I'm not on social media, but I am following what is happening. People are saying all sorts of things against the judiciary as well as interpreting it in a manner that is undesirable. But I think as a nation, we need to heal. We need to move on. I think what we need to do is to stretch out an olive branch to each other and reconcile. What happened in the last 22 years happened. There is no way we can cry over spilled milk already. It's done. But we need to reconcile. What I envisage from the, firstly from the recommendations of Truth and Reconciliation Commission is that certainly people will be held, there will be some degree of accountability. Because I'm not saying there should be blanket immunity to everyone. We need to have a closure to this. Some people, that is those who bear the most responsibility, should be brought to book. And not everyone, because that would lead to an eye for an eye, and then it makes everybody a blind person. That is not what the kind of nation we want. We are a very forgiving people. In fact, I remember I have always said that Gambians have an infinite capacity for patience and forgiveness. And I still stand by that.
All right. Yes. So, Mr. Darame, what is your definition of reconciliation? Recently, I spoke to Aisha Jame and Mohammed Sandeng, and they talked about the fact that what the TRRC is doing when it comes to personal reconciliation, perpetrator-victim reconciliation is not the reconciliation that we need. What's your definition?
Yes, I mean, it's a difficult one, and I'm not trying to sit on the fence. Having gone through the experience in Sierra Leone, and I went back and I interviewed both victims and perpetrators. Yes. For some people, it is a personal thing. They wanted the person who had been responsible for killing their loved one to come and apologize to them personally. They didn't want money. I know here we talk about reparations, and it's not always financial reparations that we're talking about. And in most of the cases, I was quite surprised that actually what they wanted was an apology, a sincere apology from the perpetrator. But if I can just take on the point that was just mentioned regarding you know, the need to forgive and to move on and so on, I think what the Gambia has to do and must learn from is what has happened in other countries. So in Sierra Leone, the recommendations ran to over 1,000 pages, I checked before I came on. Most of the recommendations 10 years on have not been implemented for all sorts of reasons, for financial reasons, for all sorts of resource reasons, but some of the other kind of more kind of basic ones about reparations. I mean, for example, the people who were perpetrators, you know, former boy soldiers and former combatants, because they didn't want them to return to the bush and to return to take up arms, they ended up giving them lots of money to start businesses, to buy cars, to buy taxis, to run taxis, to buy motorbikes, to run as motorbike taxis. Whilst the people who had had an arm and a leg cut off got very little, and in some cases they got nothing. So it's a very, very fine balancing act about, you know, yes, we don't want people to return to war, but somebody who's been a victim is now kind of doubly victimized because they see the perpetrator being paid off, and they get nothing. So it's a really, really painful one.
Yes, Mr. Kamara, coming back to you, why do you think this judgment, that's the Yankuba Touray's judgment, it's important with the current transitional justice process right now?
I think for most people, not for me, I think for most people it will be seen as the beginning of the process of accountability. That is the impression it sends to most people, the beginning of the process of accountability. That makes it very important for us, really.
Okay, all right, that's important.
Right. And for me, it's a defining moment for Gambia and for Gambians. Not just the case itself, but the TRRC itself.
Yeah, generally.
Nothing like this has ever happened in the Gambia before. Even when it was going on, there were people denying what was being said. Even when a perpetrator came and said, I killed 48 people.
People are still in denial.
People are still in denial about it. It's a wake-up call, but I guess some people haven't.
I am just curious. I want to know, who's responsible for signing this?
For signing what?
For signing the death sentence.
Finally, is the president. Before it's executed, it's the president.
So
but
we wait for that then. We get to wait for that. And Mr. Kamara.
My prediction is that that's not going to happen, really. Okay. If you ask me, that's not going to happen.
So
definitely.
finally, Mr. Kamara, before we leave here, let's talk about the fact that the courts now are quite independent. You've been here formally and now still working in the Gambia. Looking at the trend, now people can take the government to court and win cases against them. I think this is an opportunity for us to have you take us through this particular process now.
Yes, I can say that because people like us have been at the receiving end of the courts being an extension of the arm of the executive for the past several years. But I think we can breathe a sigh of relief that our courts have a degree of independence. There is no such thing as total independence of the courts, of the judiciary, but a degree of independence definitely. And you can see that from the judgments that are coming out of the Supreme Court and as well as the High Court. The one that was just delivered about 2 days ago by Justice Mahoney speaks volumes about the independence and the integrity of the courts now. And this is a very good sign for a democracy. You can never overemphasize the importance of the independence of the judiciary. For me, I tell people it's an inevitable prerequisite for any development. You will not have direct foreign investment in this country when the judiciary is not independent. You will not have serious investors coming to this country to invest their funds if they cannot have repose confidence in the integrity of the judges, as well as the judgments that are coming out and the execution of those judgments. And for now, definitely we can say that our courts are pretty much independent to some degree.
All right.
Yes, definitely.
So
and it's very good.
No court can be totally independent.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, Ade Darami and lawyer Lamin Kamara for coming on this particular program and helping us analyze this particular case. Like I said, we had to go beyond the Yankuba Touray case because this is about general issues, talking about the draft constitution, the death penalty as a whole, and of course the TRRC recommendations. Thank you so much for joining us. We will go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we will head right on to the Keeping Fit segment. Do stay tuned.
For another fun day at Q City this Tabaski. Tabaski Day 2 will be all fun with Hussein Dada featuring Chanta. A2, Big Banger, Maka Bars, YD, LJ and Swiss, and Sihu Yafa. We look forward to hosting you and your family for our special Tabaski event on Wednesday, 21st July 2021 from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. for only $200 gate fees. Don't wait to be told. Bring your friends, family, and loved ones. Let's have fun together this Tabaski at Q City. Step into the future of television with sleek and slim design Samsung Smart TVs, ranging in size from 32 to 75 inches, and in different technology. Smart LED, Crystal UHD, Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dot LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV as our TVs offer an unparalleled vision adventure from the comfort of your living room. Ultra viewing angle, powerful picture quality, web browser, gallery, EarthNet LAN, wireless LAN built-in, Bluetooth, screen mirroring technology, mobile on TV mirroring, built-in voice assistance, Wi-Fi direct. Not only that, our TVs are backed with 12 months warranty and we are currently on a promotion. Contact us on 333-3217.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. That was our social issues segment where we get to bring experts right here in the studio to talk about different issues that are happening. Like I said before we went for the break, we'll be heading right on to the Keeping Fit segment. I think we just had the segments once on this particular program and we're having it for the second time. I think it is really good. Next week, Balde, I'm promising you that I will start the gym next week. Like, I give you my word. Well, like, you can hold me accountable.
That's a promise.
That's a promise.
I would like to see a footage of you.
I will do that. I'm going to send it. I will send you that.
That's fine.
So let's take a look at what's happening at Q City Gym. And when we come back, we have the entertainment update as well. So let's take a look at that.
Good morning. Today we are going to do body pumping we are going to only use one item, which is the barbell. This one entices you, so you can be able to use it in different ways. Now, I am going to use it to build my biceps. So viewers, if you have something like this at home, join us or sit back, relax, and enjoy our sport program. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Next. 1, 2. Good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We worked on our biceps. And now after working our biceps, we have to work our triceps. So viewers, if you are there, follow with me. You keep your arms straight, and then we work on our tricep. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. 5, 6, 7, don't stop. 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. We work on our tricep. This is our tricep. This part of the body is our tricep. Here, this is our bicep inwards, and the out is our tricep. Next, on the other, we're going to work on our back. Hold on. Okay. Good. Viewers, get your barbell. 1, 2, 3, we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. 6, 7, 8, 9, come on, go. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on. 5, never stop. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We just work on our back. That's good. Now we're going to work on our front shoulders, shoulder press. So viewers, never give up. Exercise makes you fit. We want everybody to be fit. Good. Now, front rows. Come on, viewers. Let's go. 1, 2, go. 3, 4, 5, go. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. We're going for the reserve call. We pass call. We go, grab the weights, just like this. We go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 9, 7, 8. We go again. We do some lunges. We walk on our legs. Good. To carry the weight on the shoulder. Never give up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, let's stretch ourselves. Open, arms up, stretch down, carry your weight, go up, stretch your back, and down, stretch your back, and down. One more. Good. Viewers, don't forget, this is your early morning sport program. We thank you for viewing. Please stay in touch and keep Monday to Thursday. This is your PT, personal trainer JJ from QCT Gym. Thank you.
Welcome back. That was the fitness segment. Balda, are you fit though? Do you think you're fit?
Yeah, I have internal fitness. I mean, I believe in my internal. Although outside, people say I'm fat. I'm getting fat.
You're gaining weight.
Yes, I'm gaining weight now. But I mean, internal fitness is there. So we've seen the footage at Q City.
Yeah,
it's very important.
Yeah,
you know, every day we'll bring things that are new when it comes to the fitness segment. Yeah. Last time we've seen how they are moving their hips. Yeah. You know, and today we've seen how the trainer, the instructor, was trying to build his triceps and biceps. You know, these are very important things. You see, training, lifting the weight itself, you know, it's one thing, but knowing how to lift it is another thing.
Yes, but like I was talking about the food aspect as well, because I am trying to have a plan, a diet plan, you know, to reduce my intake of a lot of calories and all of that. Yes. I think I'm going to stop having dinner.
Yes, it's important when you are training. There are special foods that you take. I mean, for you to see the benefit of your training. It is very important for you to control what you eat. Otherwise, there will be no benefit. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so that's the fit. And he's so good, the trainer right there that we're seeing. Thumbs up to him. He is really, really good.
He does everything with a very heavy spirit.
Yes.
Janaba, I mean, I've decided to at least jot down some points so that people would learn the importance of training. According to what I've jot down, controls weight.
It does.
It's important. And risk of heart disease. You know, it's also important to manage your sugar, insulin.
Exactly. Like the diabetes. And especially when your parents have diabetes. It's something that you need to
let them do light training.
Yes, and diabetes is actually in my family. So sometimes I'm like, oh, am I at risk? But I'm becoming more careful.
Yes,
I eat a lot
you
of
just have to be more careful and do more training.
Yes.
You know, help quit smoking. This is important for those that are involved in smoking and they cannot quit. Mental health and mood. I mean, it increases your mood. It boosts your mood. You know, thinking skill sharp. It makes your thinking skills very sharp. Very sharp. Important.
Balda, at some point I might, you know, take you to a consulting farm where you can consult with people who want to lose weight.
Please
because
do.
With this research, I think I'm convinced.
Please do.
Thank you so much, Balda, for that particular update on the need to exercise. So like I said, we are heading right on to our entertainment segment by Buba Fati. Skeng Man Sweezy.
Skeng Man Sweezy.
Am I saying it right?
Skeng Man Sweezy. Man is ugly.
Man is ugly. Okay. We will take a short break. We'll be right back and take a look at the entertainment segment. Do stay. Skeng Man Sweezy, welcome to the program. Take us through what is happening in the world of entertainment.
Thank you, Jennifer. We have a lot going on today. And then yesterday, like I said, I mentioned that we're going to have a guest in the studio today. And then the guest, he's been doing great in the music industry, and he's been doing great in the fashion industry as well, because people know him because he's Mr. Swag, you know, Mr. Handsome, Mr. Everything, you know. And the guest with me in the studio today is Hussein Dada. Hussein, welcome to the show.
Yo, what up, man? Sweetie.
Wow, Gwanji.
Good to be here, you know.
For real, man.
Early morning. You woke me up today.
You people,
I called him yesterday.
You people are shaking hands. I
mean, boy, we closed to
it. People saying the cases are increasing, and you're still shaking hands.
No, but I'm
Mr. Asusa. The guy that made that song.
Asusa, exactly. You know.
No,
exactly.
Asusa.
Corona. Next time we give like
exactly.
Because he won't do
So I woke him up this morning from bed because it's important having him in the studio. We all know what is going on, the controversial stuff that's been going on in social media and in the industry itself. But before we get to that, I just want to ask him 3 questions. Let's get to know what Hussein is planning to do by the end of the year. So Hussein, you're from Sukuta, you've been doing great. We saw you last week, you posted on your social media outlet, you went to donate some sanitary materials to Sukuta. So what really inspired you to do that?
Well, actually, you know, I've been into the music for quite a while now, and then I've never been into anything like that. You know, so coming into 2021 and then 2020 with all the difficulties going on around the world, so I had to sit with my team, management, the label, and everything, and they was like, "What do you want to do right now?" I'm like, "Okay, let's go check into important stuff," you know, and then okay, to my surprise, when I reached the hospital. Like all the things we took there, these were things that were missing in that hospital, you know. It was really sad, you know. They had to say that these are things that, you know, even the people that work there, they will have to, as the mates that are working there, like they will have to go there earlier than the other one just to get a broom to sweep a hospital, you know, which is really sad, you know. So I came to tell myself that, you know, maybe me doing it will open door for a lot of people, you know, like with the social media posting and stuff like that. Maybe if other people see it, they can really, you know, do things like this to help, you know, because there are a lot of things that I feel like I needed to be done that are not being done in those sectors. And so, like, that's the reason why we really went there. And then, like, I'm really happy that they really appreciate it, even though it wasn't that much and all of that.
Yeah, there's one thing I always stress at East. Let's help where we're coming from. Because those are the only people that we have, and they rely on us as well. As musician, whether you're a musician, whatever you're doing. Hence, you're getting something from it. If you can help back, give out. Help other people as well. So we have a guest on the line. It's a surprising guest, actually. So, hello, Uche.
Hello.
Uche, how's it? You okay?
I'm okay.
Yeah, bro. You watched the show yesterday, day before yesterday on Monday, and then you saw the apologies Hussein made, and you also took to social media and said you forgive him because you guys are blood. So I wanted you guys to just have an interaction and settle things once and for all, because we're all brothers. This is the music industry. It's a game that we engage into. It's gonna end one day. So I just want you guys to say hi to each other, and you know, let's have fun. Let's have fun. Let's keep it going.
I am loving this.
Hey, Uche. What's up, G? You alright?
I'm good. What about?
Boy, man, schooling, man. Boy, nakasubasi, where you cool, yeah?
Man, cool, yeah.
Lui deal with it, man. How many times all I anyway, huh?
Lui deal with.
Ah, boy, why you need that boy? Hang on, you need a QTV, hang after a few months, can you have man that? You know, you just tell me what's popping, bro. We get to it real quick, man, nigga.
No, I'm good, man. So what's up, man? I saw the apologies you made yesterday on the TV.
Yeah, bro, most definitely. It was needed, you know, at some point, you know, set things straight, you feel me?
Well, at the end of the day, man, too, I don't have no bad blood, and I said this from day one.
Yeah, man.
Man is only gonna accept if man comes back on the social media where everything started and take his words back. And it's not a sign of weakness or anything, and I respect that. And I respect the fact that now I them bit of it realize that everything that she said and most of the things that she did. And at the end of the day, I realized that me and you shared a whole lot that most of these people in the music scene. So some of the things that came from you, coming from you, was a start to the heart. But at the end of the day, no bad blood. I appreciate and I respect you for that. And you know I've always loved your music, and you know I've always loved you.
Yeah, man.
So at the end of the day, bro, I wish you good luck, and I pray for your forthcoming project. Success all the way, bro.
Bless, man. Bless, man. Appreciate, man. Appreciate it.
So Uche, before you go, before we leave of you, before we take a leave of you, when are we going to see you guys in the studio pretty soon? You and Hussein, because we all know you guys are blood. You've been working together. Because you once mentioned in an interview, and Hussein and Chanda all once mentioned that because of you, the work that you've done for them, they've get to this point that they are, and then it's a vice versa. Because of them as well, people get to know you in the industry, not only as a producer but also as an artist. So which is really good, which I'm really proud of. Are you guys planning to be together again and work on something again, as usual, like before?
But I don't know, music is a vibe now.
Yeah.
Hussein knows better, but
yeah.
Hussein knows how we make music, but we don't just come up and decide like we're gonna just do this.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, but the most important thing was the bad blood getting ended, and that was the most important thing, and that's already done.
Yeah.
So by God's grace, I can't foresee the future, and I am not a prophet, but inshallah. But if that's what's gonna be, then it's gonna be. But
for real,
at the end of the day, music is what matters. We're making music. We're both making music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at some point it comes up.
Yeah.
There might be a point where I feel like I have a particular song where I think I only need Hussein on, and it might just come to life.
Yeah.
Or Hussein might have a song where he feels like he only needs Uche on,
Yeah.
and it might come to life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's the bad blood's done. The bad blood's done. Anything that comes out right now, Hussein knows it's gonna be a prophet. So music or no music, but
the brotherhood still remain the same.
Sit down and see what's coming.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You know, thank you very much, Uche. I'm really proud. I'm really proud because I don't think this could happen, but alhamdulillah, everything is working out well for you guys as well. So Hussein, I'm really proud of you as well, to be honest, because that was a bold step you took, apologizing to somebody that you've been with together. You know, I always stress on this. You know, we're all brothers. Let's fight and take the industry further instead of fighting ourselves. So you did great to that, bro.
Yeah, for real. You know, like at some point, it's good to do the most important stuff. You know, even before that morning show or whatever, me and Uche already had a sit. And then we talk things out, you know. I don't need to go out to social media to prove that I'm cool with anybody or whatever it is, you know. If I'm cool with you, I'm cool with you, you know. And then social media doesn't have any say on that. That's the kind of person I am, you know. And we had this sit and then we cleared everything out. When we meet, we greet, and then that's all, you know. I live a peaceful life, you know. I don't want to go out and see people hating on me or whatever, you know. I don't want to be going out and looking, like watching my back, who's trying to do, you understand what I mean? So that's why I'm trying to be cool with everybody, just to leave the normal life out.
Yeah, now let's talk about your project, Hussein. You're working on something, the album, live at Q City. That's our home, our hometown, man.
Q City is fun.
So let's talk about it, bro. What's the plan for the album?
Well, actually, right now the whole album is done. The cover is done and everything. You know, right now we're just waiting on the right time because my brother Chante is about to drop his own album, maybe
July
like
22nd.
July 22nd. So I'm trying to let him get all that space, you know, so we can maybe like along the way, you might never know, you might have
hold on. I think Uche is still on the line. Uche, thank you very much for joining us. We're proud.
Yeah,
and then
no
I hope you guys.
Anytime, King, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Uche, bless, man, brother.
The morning show. I see you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you.
Shout out to Hussein, Dada.
Boy, bless, bro.
Yeah, so Hussein, let's go back to it.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, you know, trying to clear the space because he already had his listening party like 2-3 days ago or 4. We were there and the music, it was crazy, you know, 16 songs. You know, I'm really anticipating.
16 songs,
16, bro.
Shut up.
He really did a great job on that. So we are looking forward to maybe August or September now, since we have all the songs done. They're being mixed and mastered. I went to Senegal a couple of days ago to do a video with one lyrical. We shot the whole video and then we're done with that. You know, I'm all about the work. You know, because the work pays, you know, the work pays. So no time for darling. This is 2K21, bro. Like,
yeah, you know, that's something I always ask gaming artists. You know, you're getting money from the industry by organizing shows. But what are you investing at as an artist? In case the music thing is not working, what are you going to hold on to?
And well, actually, you know, like to invest too, you have to look at what you're investing in. You know, so right now, you know, I'm not gonna lie. At this point, right now, my whole focus is the music. You know, because I'm trying to expand and then I'm trying to get to the world, not just Gambia. So like blending that with something else might really be a distraction at some point. So right now, that's why I'm just focusing on that. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I have some mad things in my head, you know. So like after the show, then head is cleared, you know, like we can start focusing on those.
When should we expect a song from the album or videos from the album as well?
Well, in 2 weeks, inshallah.
In 2 weeks time?
Yeah, in 2 weeks, bro. We dropping back to back.
So actually, Buba, you know, I used to think Chanta and Hussein were a team.
Yeah.
That's the concept I had. And suddenly I saw Hussein doing his own song, Chanta doing his own song. So I was a bit confused.
It's a question for him to answer.
Well, actually, we were never a group, you know, but then it was like we had this chemistry, you know. Whenever we work, people like it, you know, you feel me? But at some point, like, we never had a project. Like, Chanta never had an album, I never had an album, you know. So, at some point, we were like, okay, now, you know what we're going to do? We still can be working. We still can be going to shows together because people really love seeing us together.
Exactly.
But it's good that we work our solo projects to show them that, okay, because some people be like, you cannot do with this
Without
guy.
the other
You
guy,
cannot do
exactly.
without this, you understand? So we trying to prove that, like, even as solo artists, we can really do it.
Yeah.
And then he has an album, 16 songs. I have an album, 11 songs.
And Pisces
and
not
they about
jarring.
to, hey,
For
yeah,
real.
we're about to drop.
And Hussein, you talked about the fact that for me, when I look at groups do not work in Gambia, and you will talk to us about why. And for me, the reason why I think it doesn't work is because all of the people in the group have the concept that, oh, I have to also prove that I can do it on my own. And sometimes groups are beautiful. What do you think?
Yeah, but groups doesn't work in Gambia. But like we have nobles, they've been together for like forever.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like the problem with the groups is that as a human being, we both have different ways of thinking.
Vibing,
you know, we have different mentality. So even a beat that I'm supposed to feature you on, maybe you don't like the beat, but I like it.
Exactly.
So the fact that you don't like it, it's my song. Whether you like it or not, I'm not going to change that actual
Because
beat
of you.
because of you. So with groups too, you do have the same problems. Like they might put a beat, one of them doesn't like it, or they will allow. But the most with the Gambian music industry is that groups do allow other people to dictate what's happening in there. Like if I'm a group with you, somebody might come to you and say, you are better than Hussein, so why are you wasting your time? You understand what I mean?
Exactly,
If that thing gets into your head, you start flipping.
Yeah, that's
the reason why all these groups, they start breaking into different pieces or whatever it is. According to my own scene, like this is what I see towards groups in Gambia.
And seriously, they've been playing a great role in the music industry. Because I can remember 2014-15, they were still on the grind and get it. Seriously, they're up there today.
And I'll tell you, he's my favorite. You know, I told him on several occasions. We met at the door the other time. I told him, you're my favorite Gambian artist.
Balde, yenen Gambian artist yi ñu ngi laa
No, why most my favorite? No, Harold,
I'm not going to comment
He's my
on
star.
that.
I'm not going to
I'm
comment
not going to comment on that.
He is my star.
Why are you saying this on national television?
The whole world is watching. He is my star.
That's
my star.
That is biased opinion.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yo, say your feelings, bro. Ain't nobody coming after you.
No hate, man. No hate.
Ain't nobody coming after you.
This only happened on QTV. Trust it.
Bro,
this
man.
morning show is on fire, man.
Yes.
This is the only place where we get artists to reconcile and put the difference aside.
Definitely.
Yes.
Trust
Definitely,
it. I'm proud of
yeah,
Hussein.
definitely.
I'm proud of Huche. Trust it. They get it going, and then I know they're going to keep going as well.
Hussein, let us don't go to another beef place.
No.
Let us maintain our
promise. Yeah,
Exactly.
promise.
We're gonna stay. We're gonna stay
Focus
off
on
the
the
beefing
beef.
thing. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's your last word to your fans out there?
Well, actually, like I always say to everybody out there, stay positive, you know. Let's get rid of all the negativity, negative energy and stuff like that. To all my fans out there, we have mad stuffs coming. So stay positive and let's keep this nation peaceful, you know, like let's just keep the peace flowing, you know.
Exactly.
All about the peace. You know?
Let's keep the peace flowing, like he said. So I want you to sing a line for this show. Just 4 bars for this show.
Bro, I'm not that lyrical.
Okay, sing something from the project, man. From the project, the unfinished project.
Please, let him do the Susa thing. I like it.
Asusa.
Let's
do it together.
Nisakele nyola kafunyoma na Susa dia blo Susa de ko keso be sele kan blo le start ka Susa ko de
And I love the swag on that song.
That was Hussein. Yeah. This is this morning show that comes your way from Monday to Thursday. I'm Skengman Sweezy. Back to you, Jennifer Balde.
All right, thank you so much, Skengman Sweezy, and thank you so much, Hussein, and good luck on your future projects.
Yes.
A great conversation there.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So now I just have to give a rundown of some of the things that we've discussed today. I think it has been a very, very fruitful program. We had the newspaper review, where we had Momodou Mbodj talk about several issues, including the Yankuba Touray case.
Yes.
We also had the social issues segment, where we had Adedarami and lawyer Lamin Kamara, the Keep in Fit segment, and I gave a promise that I'll be hitting the gym.
I'll be waiting for the video.
And it's okay. All of you guys can hold me accountable. I'm going to fulfill this promise. And lastly, we had the entertainment update by Skengman Sweezy with Hussein. That was a very, very brilliant conversation. Balde, this particular program can be sponsored. Because,
Yes.
I mean, you know, we are trending currently. We're
We
doing
need-
it big.
we need
We're able to
sponsors.
reconcile
Yes.
artists on this particular
Exactly,
program.
so
why not join us?
Why not spend on our program?
You should
yes,
do
just
that.
spend on the program. And we don't mind displaying your
products
here.
right
when
here.
the products are displayed, it's a very good marketing for you out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so sponsors should come on board.
And if you are a person in the food business, we'll be accepting food as well.
Exactly.
I love to eat.
Most
In as much
important
as I want to hit the gym, but we don't mind having food
Having
on our
food
table,
here.
feeding ourselves. It will give us better energy. So come and talk to our marketing team. Come and negotiate with them. It's not expensive at all, and get to join this particular team. Don't also forget to connect with QTV on our different social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, to stay connected with what QTV has to offer till we come your way next week. From Monday to Thursday, it has been very, very engaging. It has been very brilliant here.
It's like we're missing the show already.
I am missing the show. I can't wait till Monday.
Yeah,
This should go a whole week, don't you think?
Definitely.
It should. Thank you so much, viewers.
Okay.
See you on Monday. Bye for now.